Hey everybody, welcome back to Four Wheel Frenzy. My name is Leon, and today we have a new episode with my special guest, Marsha Garcia. Marsha, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Absolutely. So, Marsha, um, you're a little bit different type of rider than the people that I normally interview, and we'll talk a lot more in depth in all of your racing career. But what series are you racing in?
Yes, I am a lot a bit different. A unicorn. I've been called a
Yeah.
unicorn before, but I am racing WORCS racing right now. I'll
hmm
be doing some desert racing. Next week, I'll be doing the Mint 400, and
hmm
in March, I am going to try my first GNCC race.
That is great. That is really cool to
Yes.
hear. And you know, so basically, you're an ATV racer, and you're out on the west side of the country,
Mhm.
but you are technically the Mint is going to be your third race of the year already.
Actually, fourth race of the year.
Your fourth race. Okay.
Yes, it'll be the fourth race because I've started off with works already.
Yep.
Um, and I'll be doing that race. And then I've also done another series. It's called AZOP. So it's
Okay.
specifically here to Arizona.
Okay. Very cool. And is that also more of like an endurance type racing, or what kind of racing
It
is
is,
that?
it's just like works. It's just
Okay.
like
Okay.
works. It's just if they don't go from different states, it's just here in Arizona.
Okay, so it's like your local.
Yes.
I don't even know what you would call works racing. It's kind of like a mix between, desert motocross and cross country racing in a way.
That's exactly what it is. It gives you a little bit of everything. Yeah, it gives
Yeah,
you a little bit of
yeah,
everything.
it's crazy. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess let's start out with that. Because you said you're racing in the work series. It's AZOP. You said correct?
Uh-huh. Yes.
And also, are you doing the full season of Best in the Desert or just the Mint?
I've thought about it,
Okay.
and I've really gotten the bug to maybe want to do the Vegas to Reno again.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm thinking I might, with this awesome build that Kevin just did, I think I'm going in
hmm
that direction.
Okay.
Because I've done works, and you start off saying, oh, I'm not gonna go to all the ones that are further away because they're going to like Washington State, Washougal, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yep.
yeah, maybe I'm not gonna do that. But I think this year is going to be the year that I don't do the entire works year. I think I'm going to
Okay.
branch off into a little bit something different.
Okay. Okay. And how many years have you been racing in the Work series?
Oh, I've been racing work since 2007.
Okay. Okay.
2007. That's where I got
All
my
right.
start at.
Wow. That's crazy. So I mean,
Mhm.
19 years. Yeah,
Yes.
19 years of works racing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
I
awesome.
have to, I have to think about how old my youngest is. And when I started racing, because I was in my 30s when I started.
Oh, you did.
So
Okay.
yeah, I got a late
Okay.
start. So
Yeah.
did got
Yeah.
a late start, and none of my kids wanted to race, but I kept on racing. So
There we go. So let's talk about that. What got you into riding and eventually racing ATVs?
it's a crazy story. My husband, when my kids were smaller, we said for Christmas we weren't going to buy each other gifts. We were just going to get the
Okay.
kids gifts.
hmm
And he came in, Christmas morning with all these gifts for me, and I was, like, well, I thought we said we weren't going to do that, and he was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
okay, don't worry about it. I bought myself something, and he go in the garage, and there's a brand new ATV in there. And I
Okay.
was so disappointed that he made that decision without me. That was a big purchase for
Yeah.
us back then.
Oh,
It's like,
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. So I was on strike for a few weeks, and he would take the kids out, and they were like, Mom, you got to come. It's so much fun.
Mhm.
And I did. Eventually went out with them in the desert, and I ended up the next weekend with my own.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I
And
ended up with
what
my own.
was your first four-wheeler?
A Predator,
A
Polaris Predator.
Predator. Players Predator.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and
Okay.
man, I thought I was on fire. Oh my gosh, it was just so natural and it was so much fun. And then I found
Mm-hmm.
out that our local track, Speed World,
Oh yeah, Speed
was just
World.
saying, yeah, that was
Yeah.
my first place. I didn't know they raced those. I was
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
let's do this, and my husband's
Yeah.
like, are you sure? And he was like, because he didn't even race at that point. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah, I want to do it, and did it, and it was at a works race, and it went
Mm-hmm.
well, and that I
Yeah.
had the bug. I couldn't stop after that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Speed World was such a great track because you live in the Phoenix, Arizona area, and
Yes.
that was a track outside of Phoenix, and they
Yes.
had and it was about when you were starting, the
Mhm.
2000s especially, that place was popping. There's
Oh
so much
man.
stuff going on there. Yeah, I just
Yeah. It's a
late
shame that it
2009,
closed.
2010. Yeah, I know. And I've seen videos recently of, there's still remnants of it there, but yeah, it's
Mhm.
just a shame that it's now abandoned,
Yeah,
and
I was there probably 3 times a week, because
really, yeah.
they had quads on Thursday nights,
Yep,
and they
yep.
would split up the practice, and then Saturday and Sunday. It was just, I lived
Hmm.
there. I
Yeah.
couldn't get enough of it.
And what years would you say this was?
That was probably 2007, 2008.
Okay,
Because
okay,
I originally got my start, you know, racing on motocross. I would do
okay.
the
Yeah,
jumps and everything.
yeah, yeah.
But as I
And they
got
had a cool
older,
track.
yeah, as I got older, I was like, yeah, I'm not jumping nothing. I mean, I could, I got a little bit, iffy. And then I started
Hmm.
racing more works, and it wasn't
Yeah,
all track, it was desert. So I was like, I'm not going to win a race jumping thing. So let me just go
right.
fast where I can. So,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I was curious on the years because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, did we ever, were we ever there at the same play at the same
it
time
could
and,
have
and had
been.
no idea? Because I was there
Yeah, it very
2009,
well could have.
2010. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Very well. I remember that
Yeah.
first race there, on the line. There was probably about
Hmm.
14, 15 women. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what happened to those days?
Yeah,
I was,
right.
every gate was packed, and
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. And I mean, that's the Phoenix, Arizona area. Obviously there's a lot of, you've got schools there that obviously would kind of promote it because you have, like,
mhm.
MMI,
Yeah.
that's right there in the North Phoenix, well, was in the North Phoenix area. But, it just seemed like there's a lot of ATV and motorcycle racing in that area and
Mhm.
racers.
Yes.
So, but
We just
that's
don't
really
have
cool.
any, yeah, we don't have any tracks to go to. They
Yeah.
don't allow quads, but there's
Hmm.
talk of one, a really big, site that is being looked at for a motocross track. Like, it's got a
Oh, very
restaurant
cool.
and all this stuff, and it's
Okay.
within an hour from where I am.
Okay.
So hopefully
Okay.
that's gonna work out.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, being that the you were in the Phoenix area, did you ever just go out and ride the desert?
Oh yeah, I still do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where
Yeah.
where you get your practice in. You got the
Exactly.
bumps, you got
Exactly.
the ruts, you got the rocks,
Hmm. Right.
bushes, everything. So that's the only place you can go.
Yeah. And that probably really helps you for doing both the best in the desert stuff and the works racing because,
Yes.
I remember just you drive 20 minutes outside of the city limits, you find a place that clearly other people have done stuff there,
Yes.
and you just unload and all right, let's go ride.
Yeah, that's it. And my thing is, my husband doesn't ride. He doesn't have a bike.
Okay.
So wherever I
Okay.
go, I like to be able to see other people. So if something were to
Right.
happen to me, I can, hey, I need
Hmm.
some help. But
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
just go out to the desert and ride. Get in some of the washes with the,
Yep.
the sand, and just let her rip.
Yeah, yeah. It's fun times, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So your first race then was at Speed World,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously the bug bit you pretty hard because
Yes.
here we are 19 years later and you're still doing it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
um, so then you've been doing the works work series that long, at what point did you decide I want to try, doing something a little more long distance in some of the Best in the Desert events?
When I was approached by Ish Racing, they asked
Hmm.
me, "Hey, do you want to do the Vegas to Reno with us?"
Okay.
I had done some long distance races, but they were like GP style and,
Okay.
not
Yeah.
a loop. So when they
Hmm.
asked me to do that, I was like, sounds really good, but I have trigeminal neuralgia and I don't know if
Hmm.
I can do that long of a race on,
Hmm.
different times during the race. And
Hmm.
so I had surgery for my trigeminal neuralgia.
Hmm.
And it was probably within a week of the Best in the Desert, the Vegas to Reno, and
Hmm.
I was pain free. And I did the race, and we took fourth, and I loved
Hmm.
it. I was like, I
Hmm.
think I can do this, but
Yeah.
I didn't have the bike set up for it or anything, so I kind of just let it go.
Okay.
Um, but now I have the bike, so
Yeah. Yeah. There you
let's
go.
go.
So what year was your first Vegas to Reno then?
Vegas to Reno was 2022.
Okay, so fairly
Yeah.
recent.
Yeah, fairly
Okay.
recent. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And yeah, and here we are now. You've got the machine, so you can do it again.
Yes. My mechanic's like, yeah, we got to keep doing these different races to get you ready for Vegas to Reno. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll let you
absolutely.
know if I'm gonna do it. I don't want the pressure.
Yeah, yeah. So you've basically, I think, pretty much covers a lot of that. You started just kind of riding for fun, decided to
Yeah.
race, and here you are. So you're three events in already, two work series and an
No.
AZOP.
Mhm.
How has the season been going so far this year for you?
So this season, I am promoting more women racers. What I have been
Mm-hmm.
doing that all along, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't very well say, "Hey, ladies, get out here and race," and I'm not even racing in a women's class because I would
Right.
normally race, the 50B class or,
Okay.
with the usually with the men because there's no other
Okay.
women my age. So
Mm-hmm.
this year I'm doing the women's B class, and I've
Okay.
you know took first place in both those races. So
Okay.
I don't want to say I'm sandbagging, but technically that's where I should be.
Uh-huh.
So knowing that I may not do the full work series,
Yep.
I just want to be a part of that and try to get as
Yeah.
many women as I can to sign up for
Okay.
the works races.
Yeah, yeah. And I see that the work series, granted it is ATVs, dirt bikes, and side by sides, but for
Mhm.
the whole series, your numbers are doing quite well.
Yes.
How are, for the AZOP series, how are the numbers in that one?
Now that one, I only do it to get seat time. I
Okay.
don't do it to, I don't do it to keep up, try to win a
Hmm.
championship or anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So
So it's just
like if
some
there's,
off time you hit one up.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yes, yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's cool too. And
yeah.
what class, when you do show up to those, are you running a women's class there? Or you just sign up for the B class?
They have a sportsman class, and that's
Okay.
usually the largest class.
Hmm.
But they don't have any women's classes. They don't,
Okay. Okay.
they don't offer
So
them.
it's all just a bunch of co-ed classes.
You got it.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Um, but you started talking about something I wanted to talk to you about as well. But you have a team that you
Hmm.
are running, and it's called TN Warrior Racing.
Yes.
Will you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay. So the TN Warrior Racing came from, um, joining the the condition that I have with
Hmm.
racing
Hmm.
because I had trigeminal neuralgia while I was racing and I didn't even know I had it. So I
Hmm.
was not diagnosed for a number of years, but I was
Hmm.
still racing. And it was anywhere from a sinus infection to a headache to, all these different things. And
Hmm.
then when I found out what it was, I was really happy because I felt like I can fight it now. But I never
Hmm.
said to myself, "Oh, I'm going to stop racing now."
Yeah.
So I just used my racing platform
Hmm.
to bring awareness to trigeminal neuralgia because it is rare,
Hmm.
and a lot of people do get misdiagnosed, and they're going through the gamut of tests and medications.
Hmm.
So I just like to be able to talk about that
Yeah. Yeah.
wherever I go, and it's
Yeah.
coming out more and more. So,
Hmm. Perfect. And for anybody that doesn't know, as like you said, it's not very common. But for people that don't know, what exactly is trigeminal neuralgia?
trigeminal neuralgia is a damaged nerve. Mine happens to be on my left side. It's
Okay.
usually not on both sides. It's usually one side or the other. It
Hmm.
affects more women over 50 than any other demographics,
Hmm.
but it's a damaged nerve. Um, Sometimes it can be seen on like a Fiesta MRI. And
Hmm.
what it is it's compression on a nerve. So what they
Hmm.
do is they cut behind the ear and they go in and they put a piece of Teflon and it stops that, and it usually fixes it.
Okay.
Um, my case is idiopathic. They can't find out where it's at,
Oh,
so they
wow.
can't put that Teflon in there. So
Okay.
I'm not a candidate, but I did have radio frequency ablation on my
Hmm.
left nerve,
Okay.
and it worked for a year. And
Okay.
man, I was living it up. That was the year I
Yeah.
did the Vegas to Reno. Everything was great. And
Uh-huh.
then maybe right at a year, I started getting
Hmm.
tingling on my tongue,
Okay.
and the nerve was trying to regenerate itself, and it's called
Hmm.
anesthesia dolorosa. And so with that, the entire side of my left face
Hmm.
is now numb. I can't
Yeah.
feel
Oh, wow.
anything, I can't taste anything, I can't smell anything. My
Okay.
eye doesn't produce tears, so
Okay.
I'm having my cornea damaged and it's causing vision issues,
Oh, wow.
really bad with the hearing. So I don't
Hmm.
want to do that procedure again. I
Right.
just try different homeopathic things,
Okay.
balms, just anything that I can try. The medication left me very foggy and
Okay.
very lazy, and I'm a really active person and I couldn't live
Hmm.
that way. So I said,
Yeah.
I'm just going to try different things. So I started working with the Facial Pain Association
Okay.
to um, help bring awareness and have like monthly meetings. And I
Okay.
get so much feedback, and
Hmm.
I can help, other people. It might not work for me, it might not work for them, but it might work for somebody else. So it's just
Hmm.
having that information to be able to maintain it. It can't be cured, so
Hmm.
it's just trying to maintain your daily life. They call it
Yeah.
the suicide disease because people do take their lives because they cannot
Right.
deal with excruciating pain.
Right. And
So,
I did see that. I don't remember if that's from researching on your website or if it was doing research on the internet in
yeah.
general. But yeah, I mean, it's just that popped up, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's basically just it's a constant discomfort, correct? It's not
Yes.
something that comes and goes, it's always
Right.
there.
So
Hmm.
the trigeminal neuralgia does come and go. Like it's electric
Okay.
shocks.
Okay.
If you could think about a TENS unit, okay?
Hmm.
Put three
Hmm.
patches on your face and walk around with somebody all day, and they can just randomly, put it up to 10. That's
Yeah.
what trigeminal neuralgia is.
Yeah.
So with that procedure I had, it limited the TN strikes, but
Okay.
it caused this other thing, which is constant. And it
Right.
feels like needles,
Ugh.
burning, tingling sensation all the time.
Oh, wow.
It's either at a 10, it could be at a 4, it could be at a 3, but
Hmm.
crazy things cause it to act up. Like when I was
Okay.
saying, I'm having a flare up, the wind can cause it. Being in the
Okay.
cold,
Hmm.
wetness. The one thing about racing is that the compression from the helmet
Okay.
limits my pain.
Okay.
So I'm good to go the whole race. It's when the helmet
Okay.
comes off that it
Really?
starts the problem. Yeah.
So in a way, racing to you is also like a pain medication.
Yes, it is. Yes, because here at home, and I can't work,
Mm-hmm.
I'm fighting pain daily,
Okay.
and then I'm
Yeah.
trying to, take care of my nonprofit and
Mm-hmm.
race and do all these things, and it causes a lot of stress, and it
Mm-hmm.
causes flare-ups. And you can take your medicine, you can lay down, you can get your heating pad, and then you
Yeah.
just keep pushing on with your day. It is just part of your daily life now, so you just
Okay.
have to learn to manage it.
Okay. Okay. Wow. And so I mean right there, just something that you've overcome. And how long ago was it that you were diagnosed with TN?
I was diagnosed probably about 5 years ago, but I raced
Okay.
with it for like 4 years. So,
Okay. Okay.
after the races, I would be driving home and I would have to pull over because I'm
Right.
like, something's not right. And I would tell the
Right.
doctors, and they're like, oh, you have migraines, you have this, you have that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I don't think so, And then I
Right.
finally was on my last leg, and I went to,
Uh-huh.
they sent me to a pain specialist. They were like, well, there's nothing else we can do. And the
Yeah.
pain
Yeah.
specialist said, hey, I think I know what you have. He told me, and, I went to the car and Googled it, and it was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna die, and it was like,
Right.
but I felt like I had information to fight it. So that actually
Yes.
made me feel better. So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
And obviously, kind of going back to you feeling good when you ride, it's having the racing gives you something to push forward and push through
Yes.
it,
Yes.
especially knowing that when you have the helmet on, and you're behind the bars of your quad, it's therapeutic for you
It is
in
because
more ways than one.
yes, I was just gonna say, because
Mhm.
it's very depressing,
Mhm.
having a chronic illness, because you're always dealing with pain, and I'm the queen of cancellation. I'll tell you
Okay.
right now. I
Yeah.
can say, yeah, I'm going to the soccer game on Saturday morning, I'll be there. But trigeminal neuralgia is like, nope, we're gonna stay in bed for about 6 hours.
Right.
And it's just,
Right.
you do what you can to make it work, but
Mhm.
everyday life is definitely disrupted.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely has to be a struggle just doing day-to-day tasks and,
It
and
is.
and keeping a schedule because you don't know when it's going to come up and when it's going to get bad. You
Yes,
just it controls you in a way.
it does. And
Hmm.
that's one of my things, is that I will try. I'm a guinea pig. I'll try anything
Okay.
to
Yeah.
see what works.
Hmm.
Gives a little bit of hope, or relief, and then I share that with other people. Um,
Okay.
but what else can you do? There's nothing else you can
Right.
do.
Right. Right. Unfortunately, I mean, who knows what will happen years down the road, but right now it's just unfortunately you have to
Yeah.
play with the cards you're dealt with and
Yeah. I mean, there are
do
a
what you
lot
can.
of studies that are coming forward having to do with hormones, that men and
Okay.
women do share, that may
Uh-huh.
have a connection to, and I'm really
Okay.
interested in that. But since I've been
Yeah.
in the AARP article, I'm getting a lot of
Mhm.
doctors reach out to me,
Okay.
for like a case study to say, hey, um, what's your program looking like, so we can kind of pair it up with what we have going on. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
really promising to me.
Yeah, that's really cool that
Yeah.
is happening and you are getting these doctors that are reaching out to you instead of you just
Yes,
always begging for answers.
exactly. It's
So,
where we have to work
mhm.
together. That's the only way we're
Yeah.
gonna come to a conclusion.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you started this team and I guess what made you decide this is something that I'm dealing with, this is something I'm battling. Let's flip this around and bring something positive out of this and start an ATV racing team.
Yes. Well, like I said, I always wanted to use my racing to spread the word about trigeminal neuralgia. And
Yeah.
then at the same time, I want more women to come out and race. And,
Right.
they're there anyways. They're there either
Mm-hmm.
because of their sons or their husband or daughter. And I
Mm-hmm.
just want them to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And then when I go out there, I can talk to them about it and say, hey, if you ever start to feel this way, this
Right.
could be what it is. So when I started the nonprofit, TN
Mm-hmm.
Warrior Racing,
Yep.
um, I wanted to combine both of them, and
Okay.
I wanted people to be able to say, "Hey, oh, they got a race team, and this is what they do," and
Yeah.
it did really well. So I started off with younger girl. She was raced, I think, a 90, and
Okay.
she got her going and paid for fees and her gear and everything, and it was just another
Mm-hmm.
way of saying, hey, it's not just me doing this is other people. So
Yeah.
this year, we're doing the mint, and then I've got Cameron Engel, and she's a writer,
Mm-hmm.
and she's
Mm-hmm.
going to be doing the whole works series representing for the team when I'm not there,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
keep it going.
That's really cool. And then are there other members of the team currently?
There's just Cameron, and then the girls that are going to be doing the mint with me, which is
Okay.
Ashley Hodge, Ashley Urea, Paulina Carrillo, and myself. So
Okay.
if any
Okay.
other races come up, I'll go to them and say, hey, do we want to do this? Or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so and
Yeah.
I take care of all the fees. So
Okay.
I want them to be able to not have to worry about whether they can afford it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go.
Yeah. Yeah. And first of all, how cool is it having an all women's team that
Yes.
is going to run at the Mint, and what
Mhm.
other events you all may decide to run in the
Right.
future. But yeah, just having an all women racing team in general, through the ladies and girls that you help at the work series, what you all are doing at the Best in the Desert. It's very cool to see that because it is really
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah. I have I've had twice the first time women's races with Works,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Randy Perry allowed me to have a race, and I
Mm-hmm.
had two of them so far, one at Glen Helen and one at Cedar City, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just a race that I put together. Weenan Motorsports helped me with. I was sponsored by them, and
Okay.
they just got a lot of freebies together and fly racing, and everybody helped out. And there was
Mm-hmm.
probably about 18 women that came out and did it,
Oh
and
wow.
it was great because they got to see what it's like to race without committing to it.
Right.
And, if you want to come back next year, you know what it's like. And then some of them
Mm-hmm.
got off there and were like, I can't believe my child does this. And this was so hard, but it was fun and it was
Yeah.
exciting. And,
Yeah.
one's like, I got the whole shot. And, so it was so exciting. And then the following year, my mother passed away.
Okay.
And when I came back, people were like, oh, are you going to have it again? Are you going to have the race again? So it was kind of like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I think that would be
Yeah.
healthy for me to do that. So we did it
Yeah,
at Glen
absolutely.
Helen. And it was
That's so
great.
cool.
It was
Yeah.
so much fun, So
Yeah.
it gives them an opportunity to say, yes, I want to do it, or no, I don't, or I want to try it. And yeah. So
That's so cool.
that's what I'm just about propping up the women, yes, we can do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it sounds like you're a very great women's racer advocate to begin with, and you're just pushing to hopefully grow the women's racing segment in
Yeah.
hopefully in all forms of racing, not just the work
Yeah.
series.
Right.
So,
And I originally did it because I wanted like more moms and stuff to
hmm,
try it. But then,
yeah,
there's some teenage girls that aren't haven't done it before. They don't, but
hmm,
they want to, they want to try it.
yeah,
So, anybody who wants to try it's a female, just come on out. And people were
yeah.
donated their bikes. They were
Oh
like,
wow,
if somebody doesn't have a bike and they need a bike, let me know. I had extra
hmm,
gear. I brought my extra gear. So
yeah,
it wouldn't be a hassle for them. Just come on and try
yeah.
it. Don't give me
That
no
is so
excuses.
cool.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally no strings attached. You
No
don't
strings
have to.
attached.
Yeah, like you said, there's no commitment. It's just come try it out. If you
Yep,
have some
come try it.
equipment, bring it. If you don't, we'll figure something out.
Exactly. That's exactly what I say. Don't give me no
Yeah.
excuses because I have something to come up against it. So don't give me
Right,
no
right.
excuses. So
Yeah, just hop on and go.
that's
Say
right.
yes. That's
Yep.
so cool. So cool.
Yep.
Um, so then with the team and everything, what all are you doing to help raise awareness for TN?
So on I like to have like events. We had Dunk a Pro last year,
Okay.
and what I did was this was at Glen Helen as well, and I had a dunk tank, and
Mm-hmm.
all the pro women had their turn in the dunk tank for I believe 15 20 minutes, and
Okay.
you got to buy tickets to
Mm-hmm.
dunk them,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it was so much. We had so much fun, and we raised in 3 hours. We raised close to $2,000
Oh wow.
for
Okay.
yeah for to donate to the Facial Pain Association. And then
Yeah.
I also have Sparky, and
I did
I
see
came up
that.
with
Yeah.
Sparky, and he is kind of driving force behind the nonprofit because he's now
Okay.
traveling in Canada and in
Mm-hmm.
the United States. So he travels
Yeah.
throughout the United States from person to person, spreading awareness and hope and comfort. And
Mm-hmm.
they post it on social media. And
Yep.
you can they send it to from person to person, but if you want to buy your own Sparky, you can.
Yeah.
And he's $20, and then we have the smaller ones. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just a way to say, hey, this is how we feel, but we look a little crazy, and we sleep a lot, but
Yeah.
we need to find a cure. And not
Yes.
everybody can
Yes.
get out there and race and do the things that I do. So I try
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
include them any way I can.
Yeah.
So, if it's writing something about them, some type of anything about their life that they would like me to share, I
Mm-hmm.
will share that with the world if they want to.
Oh,
A
right
lot of
on.
people don't feel comfortable with it. Some of them can't, they're way worse
Mm-hmm.
off than I am. So
Yeah.
I want to be their voice.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back to Sparky too, I looking around on your website,
Mhm.
tnwarriorracing.com, I saw that there was a tab that was Meet Sparky or Where is Sparky? And
Yes.
he's been all over the place.
Oh my God, that guy's everywhere. He's been in New Zealand, he's been to Germany,
Yeah.
Canada. I mean, all over the United States, the West Coast, the East Coast. Now he's going,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
down the middle. So,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just a way of letting people who deal with chronic illness, trigeminal neuralgia, they're not alone.
Yeah.
And a lot of time they do feel alone because their
Yeah.
life is in on the couch or in their bed or, at the doctor.
Right.
So you're not alone, and this way they can have contact with the person before them and the person after them, because he
Right.
travels with a journey, a journal,
Oh,
and you can
yeah.
write in that journal how you're feeling, a note, a
Oh,
poem, something, words of encouragement. So
yeah.
if
Yeah.
you get it from that person and you want to have contact with them, you can.
That's so cool. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Sparky is, ideally helping connect everyone that's dealing with this.
Yes.
And and obviously if you have more people that actually, because I'll be honest, I had never even heard of it until we started
Yes.
talking. And
Yes.
it's one of those things that's like, why is this not very well known?
Yes. And
Because I couldn't
I'm pushing for
imagine.
it. Yeah, I'm pushing
Yeah.
for it
Yeah.
because it is very important to me because I have it, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but to
Right.
see people struggle
Right.
like I'm not struggling is just heartbreaking to me. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you can't live your life. And there's
Yes.
people out there that have children. And I'm like,
Right.
how do you do that? Like
Right.
when I am going through a flare up, I cut everything off. I
Mm-hmm.
shut everything down. There's mothers
Mm-hmm.
that have children that have to go to school, and they can't do that. So,
Right.
I
Right.
know that the last thing on their mind is spreading awareness. So I'm going to be the
Mm-hmm.
advocate. I'll do it. I don't
Right.
have a problem with it. Let me take the punches. I'll do it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's my mission.
Well,
That's my mission.
yeah, and I mean, good for you for being the one that's taking this initiative
Yeah.
and really pushing and striving forward with it. And and obviously we have a mutual friend, Jason Zittel, who is, also racing for a purpose with, raising mental
Wrist.
health awareness,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
you're racing to raise awareness. And it's so cool seeing racers that are doing this. And mental health is obviously another big issue. You
Hmm.
said that TN is known as the suicide syndrome, correct?
Yes. Suicide disease. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, suicide disease.
Yeah.
um like nobody wants to hear of something like that happening.
Yeah.
you know
You know, it sounds suicide disease. It sounds really bad. And, you don't want to
mhm,
advocate for that. But it
right.
is so bad that it makes people say, hey, this is my only way I can deal with this pain. And that
Right.
then there in itself should tell you it needs to be put out there more at the forefront,
hmm
which is
hmm
one of the reasons that I want to go and do the GNCC races because
yeah.
I want to spread the word there, wherever I go, they're going to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that lady was talking about that, with the
Yeah.
braids, that race." I want them
hmm
to be able to say that, because if
yeah.
it gets to one person, it's going to get to the next person, and it's just going to spread.
Right.
So, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it honestly be really cool to try to get you at a motocross race at some point. I know you say you don't do
yeah,
jumps anymore,
yeah. I can
but
roll
it'd
them,
be really cool.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would I and this is going to be my year of just kind of doing different things.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm not
Just kind of
getting any
bopping around
younger.
and
Yeah, I'm not
uh-huh.
getting any younger, and I don't want to say I'm slowing down, but my body is saying, yeah, you probably want to lay off the racing as much. So,
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, racing in a way has been keeping you young for the last few years, but
right.
it catches up to us at some point.
It it does. It does. And
Yeah.
usually it catches up to you on the off season when you're
Yeah.
not as active and then you're chilling and you're like, oh, what is that? And so, yeah.
Right, right. But let's talk about the Mint a little bit. First of all, because I know you ride in the your normal race machine is a Yamaha, correct?
Yes. Yes. It's a
And
Yamaha.
you had a Honda built for the Mint?
Yes, Honda built. Kevin Avina found an '06 Honda for me, and
Okay.
I was in a position to be able to tell him, do what you want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my thing was, my Yamaha has always been, Elka and, Lone Star. Everything has been this way. And I
Okay.
told him I wanted to try different things because I had never
Okay.
tried different shocks. I'd never tried,
Yeah.
different brake levers. So I said, do what you want. And
Yeah.
tires, everything. And man, he
Mm-hmm.
brought this thing out and it was, oh, I was just like, oh my God, I love it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really can't wait to get it out there at the race.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, Kevin at Avena Prep, he's been around for quite a while,
Yeah.
especially, with you guys over on the west side of the country. And, he knows his stuff. He's a great
Yeah.
guy. So it's really cool. I'm sure it's nice for you to have him in your corner too.
It is. I call him the wizard because
Yeah.
I mean I
He
can
looks
tell
like one.
him, yeah, I can tell him what's going on. Like I'm not real good with, the terminology of racing and all that parts and stuff,
Yeah.
but I tell him,
Yeah.
it's doing this or it sounds like this, and he can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate his guidance, and he
Yeah.
built some awesome machines. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen a couple of his machines, and if you've looked at any four-wheeler content online, chances are everyone else has seen at least a build of his in the
yeah,
past.
yep.
And it's like I said, it's great to have him in your corner, and next weekend when you take off from the line at the Mint, like your machine's going to be ready to rock.
I know, and I don't have
Hmm
any worries. I don't have any doubts.
Yeah,
I don't feel
there
like,
you
oh,
go.
what if this happens to the machine? I don't care if it's a
Right.
'06 or what. I feel like Kevin built this, or it's gonna
hmm
rock. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So choosing the Honda, was there any other reason, or just the fact that you wanted to try something different?
Well, my bike, my Yamaha is not set up for the desert
Okay.
racing.
Yep. Hmm.
So it was either buy another Yamaha and get it set up or go with the Honda. And he chose the
Yeah.
Honda. So I let him
Okay.
choose the Honda.
Okay.
Yeah. Simple as
Fair enough.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Just let Kevin take the wheel and
Yep. I'm
you'll
just
just
here to
ride
ride it. That's right.
it. Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
And then so all the other ladies that are on your team for the Mint, have you all
Mhm.
ridden together before?
Paulina and I did the
Hmm.
Vegas to Reno together.
Okay.
The
Hmm.
other two, we just raced other series together, not,
Okay.
against each other or on a team or
Hmm.
anything. But yeah, Paulina and I are the only two that have raced together.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all just, you're all just a group of ladies that, a couple of you raced together before. Otherwise, you just all know each other, and I'm assuming you're all friends.
Yes, we are. So
And
what I
it's
did, what happened was I once Jason started talking to me about it, I was like, okay, let me
Mhm.
get some women together. So I
Yeah.
made a post on Facebook and I said, hey, ladies, it's your turn. Let's do the men. And I
Hmm.
got probably about 8 women who said I want to
Okay.
do it. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, maybe I could do 2 teams.
Hmm.
And then the women started backing out and it
Okay.
ended up with us
Okay.
four. So I'm like, okay, four is perfect. And
Hmm. Hmm.
then Ashley Hodge, she
Hmm.
broke her knee last
Oh,
2 weeks ago in
no.
29 Palms. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's out of it. But us three,
Yeah.
we're still gonna do it.
Okay. You're just gonna
And
push
we can.
forward and make it
Yeah,
happen.
we
Yeah. Oh,
can.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can.
And that's a nice thing. Obviously, it's a long race.
It is.
500 miles, correct?
Mm-hmm. 400.
Or 400. Yeah, min
Meant
400.
four, yeah.
400
Uh-huh.
miles.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, there's three of you that are going to ride. So
Yes.
it's just breaking it up to give, say you go first, then the other
Yeah.
two can go so long. You get some time to rest. And I'm assuming you have a decent crew that's also going to go with.
Yes, Kevin's going with us.
Okay.
We have several people there that know how to work on the Honda, and
Okay.
we'll
Yeah.
have parts at the first pit and the second pit, and
Okay.
we'll have the radios. So if
Hmm.
someone isn't doing well, they can always radio in, and we can have somebody who's a little bit fresher waiting at the second pit to take over.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Mm.
Perfect. So yeah, I mean, it's just going to be strategizing to make sure
Yeah.
everyone is getting enough rest time in between and make it
Yes,
happen.
keep them hydrated. Yeah,
Yeah.
I might not be the fastest one, but I have really
Hmm.
good stamina. And
Perfect.
I once I get that initial, you know, jitters and everything out at the front of the race, I
Hmm.
usually finish strong. So
Okay.
that was always my strategy in the 50 class with the men because they would
Yeah.
always take off and race each other. And then I would just come up from the back and just start picking them off because they're just so tired,
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's I that's one thing I can pat myself on the back is I have really
Yeah.
good stamina. So
Yeah. Well, it sounds like your racecraft is figured out and you know what you need to do to finish
yes,
well.
yes,
Just
yep,
and I'm sure obviously you know your body, so you know what you can take, and
yeah,
you're not one of those people that's just gonna like I gotta go, and then
no,
I'm burnt out.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I never ride with a camel pack either. I really
okay,
never have,
okay,
except with the at the Vegas to Reno, and I maybe
hmm.
used it twice,
Oh
the
wow,
whole time, so it's just my body's just used to it. So I got to
okay,
that's one thing I got to get better at is learning
yeah, that
to
sounds
use what the
brutal,
camel pack
really.
gives it. Yeah. It is. I don't know why I do. I just you have
Yeah,
always done it that way, so
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. I mean, and obviously, I'm always so used to more of a shorter form of racing, but
yeah.
it's always you always think hydration is key. You got to be
Yes,
hydrated.
it
You're
is.
out
Yes,
there
it is.
for an hour
Or
plus every
incest.
time
Yeah.
you're on your quad, and you're not
Yeah.
hydrating.
Nope, not hydrating. So I'm gonna have to do it this time. But I was always like, oh, I don't want it to upset my stomach, or I don't want to feel that
Okay,
bogged down. But I
yeah,
guess taking small sips here and there is gonna help. But
right, right, yeah,
I like the fact that this one is a it's a loop because you're
Hmm.
always going to be able to make your way back, as to where the Vegas to Reno was point A to point B, and it was
Correct.
like
Yeah.
you're just going on a straight line. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So also that's the other thing is the mint is more similar to a works race for you
mhm.
because it's you are doing laps. They're
Yes.
longer and I mean, from where I'm coming from, the works is already long laps, and
Hmm.
then you're going to the mint where it's even longer laps. Do you
Yes.
prefer having something like that, or do you like the A to B races?
I think I like the loop.
Okay.
Um, to be honest with you, being out in the middle of nowhere is not the greatest feeling, but knowing
I can
that
imagine.
there's a loop and there's people
Yeah.
going to be on it, that for
Right.
some reason just kind of makes me feel a little bit easier.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure, you know, if something were to happen, it would be a lot better knowing, okay, in a few minutes, I'm going to be coming by people and could possibly
Yes,
get this thing fixed instead of I need to figure out how to get this machine to the next pit area.
exactly. Yep, that's exactly how it is. I mean, the Vegas to Reno was it was so exciting. You really didn't even have time to be scared, but
Yeah.
when you start seeing the helicopters and stuff and the trophy trucks
Yeah.
are coming, it's like, yeah, I just want to
Right.
get out of the way. I just want to get out of the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So,
That has to be a scary moment in itself when you see a, high horsepower truck come flying by you.
okay, so Paulina was the first one to have to experience the trucks, because right when I
Okay.
got off and handed the bike off to her at the Vegas to Reno, the helicopter started circling. And I'm like, woo! So she took off, and here come the trucks are going by, and they're just
Yeah.
like something from hell. And I'm like, girl, you better
Right.
get out of the way,
Yeah.
but I know they're looking out for us and everything, but it's not a
Right.
good feeling, knowing you
Oh,
got that
right.
much horsepower coming up behind you. So,
Exactly. Yeah, you've got this 1,000 horsepower V8 just rumbling by you, and they're not quiet
exactly.
either.
Yeah.
And
And with the Met, we don't have to worry about it because it's just us and dirt bikes. So
there you go.
that's
Perfect.
great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Just a nice feeling anyways.
you got it.
For sure. So then, you're going to do the mints, maybe Vegas to Reno this year.
Yeah, I think there's some other ones in between there, and I'm
Yes.
definitely wanting to do those. Silver
Okay.
State
Yeah.
300, I believe. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
would like to try that one Ironman, um,
Yeah.
just to see if I can do it.
I, and that's something that it'd be really cool. I don't know about you, but I feel like if you were able to, in my head anyway, as I'm thinking like if I were to ever Ironman some sort of distance race like that, it would just be
Uh-huh.
such a cool accomplishment, kind of like a
Yeah,
bucket list item.
exactly. And it's kind of
Hmm.
like, if you just do it, and then if you don't finish, then you don't finish. You're not
Right.
losing anything. You're not
Right.
losing your
Exactly.
bike, or it's just
Right.
you just didn't make it. So for
Right.
me, that's just going to give me the drive to want to try it again, because I
Hmm. Right. Right.
definitely don't like to quit, and I don't like to be defeated that way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Because I mean, that one there, it's, if you do happen to beat people, that's impressive.
it's great.
But
Yes, that's great.
finishing it is the accomplishment in itself.
Exactly. Yeah. I definitely ride safe. I don't ride over my
Yeah.
head. I know what my limitations are, and I
Yep.
stick to them.
Hmm.
And that would be the thing with that,
Yeah.
just keep going, just pushing, do what you can. Don't take any
Hmm.
unnecessary chances and finish the race. And you never know
Right.
where you're going to finish. You could be first, you could be third, you could be last, but you
Yeah.
accomplished it. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I think that'd be really cool. That'd be really,
yeah.
really cool. So what else, you know, when you're looking forward with TN Warrior Racing, what do you see?
More of the same.
Okay.
More of the same. I want it. I don't want it to just be, our little bubble here in Arizona. I want to take
Hmm.
it on the road. I want it to
Yeah.
be, how I would love to have, somebody on the East Coast be part of TN Warrior Racing.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. It would
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. For sure.
yeah. So I'm always thinking,
Hmm.
what can I do next? And once I get it in my head, it's there. It's probably going
Yeah.
to get done. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. And I mean, obviously, you're already getting the ball rolling on something. With your starting to attend some GNCC races.
Mhm.
Who knows? Maybe you can start a whole new little crew there. That
Yeah.
if you're not able to make all of the events, maybe someone can kind of carry the torch for you at those events. And if you can keep making your way over, obviously, like I said earlier, if you're able to kind of get into the motocross side of things, or even the TT side of things, like it'd just be, if TN Warrior Racing had some sort of appearance at all the disciplines of ATV racing
Mhm.
across the country, it'd be a really cool accomplishment.
It would be big.
Mm-hmm.
It would give these girls something, girls, women, something to really look forward and to be
Mm-hmm.
excited about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really, the men are the ones that are, to me, it's their sport. We're
Right.
just kind of along for the ride. So to have this for the women, it's just exciting to me, it
Yeah.
just seems
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and yeah, that's just like it is a men's dominated sport, but
mhm.
does it have to be?
No, it doesn't. And
There's
we can prove
right,
that. We can
right,
prove it.
right, exactly. And I mean, here in the motocross side of things, there are some really fast women.
There is.
In 2025, there were two women that were battling for the WMX championship all year long, with Kinsey Osborne and Emma Ray, that came here from Ireland.
I've always been so interested in watching
Yeah,
the women race, but they never show
yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's just it. Unfortunately, with the ATV motocross series, there's like this year, there's going to be 3 events that are live streamed as of right now,
Mhm.
anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, especially if you want to watch the WMX class, there's no coverage on it.
Yeah.
And with me in this podcast, the WMX, they are the pro women's class.
Yeah.
They should be getting more, just be showcased a lot more than they are. And so with this podcast in 2025, I started doing pre-race press conferences with the WMX, and then a podium post-race interview with the three,
Mhm.
first, second, and third ladies.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they can get some more recognition
Yeah.
as the time goes on, because like I said, 2025, the two that were battling for the WMX championship were getting podiums in the A class as well.
Wow. Thank you for doing
And
that. That is
yeah,
amazing because
yeah.
they they deserve it. They work just as hard.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
it goes without saying,
Right.
give them their recognition. It's due.
Right.
So,
Right. And
yeah.
that's just it. They're and like I don't call it the men's classes and the women's classes. There's women's classes, and then there's co-ed classes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have forgotten that, because it's always like, oh, well, yeah, they're doing pretty good in the guys class. Like, it's not a guys
Mhm.
class. That's open
Yeah,
to any
right.
gender. It's
Exactly.
just that the women also have their specific ones, and you've got the girls classes and stuff like that. And, these women that can ride, it's awesome.
I
It
agree.
is
I
very cool.
agree. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
we've got some really fast girls here on the West Coast, and
Yeah.
I probably maybe 4 years ago I started doing writer things that I would put on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
introducing them to the person and um what class they are, just to show other
Yeah.
people this is who's racing too. They're out there as
Right.
well, not just the
Right.
Bo Barons and Travis Damons. These are,
Right.
you look at these, look, and
Yeah.
I never really watched the kids race,
Okay.
and somebody told me, "Come watch the kids race."
Mm-hmm.
Man, those kids are diehard. They were
Oh yeah.
jumping. They were no fear. Like, it was so fun to watch these
Yeah.
kids and how
Yeah.
excited they get. And, so yeah, I think as a sport, it really is like building blocks to show all the different classes and stuff, because
Mm-hmm.
there might be
Yeah.
somebody who is new. They don't want to really necessarily see the pros in them race because they are think I'm not going to be that fast. But if you
Right.
show them some amateur riders,
Hmm.
first timers, they're going to say, oh, you know what? I think I could do that. And hey, you
Yeah,
got a new right.
exactly.
So
Exactly. And that's just it. Yeah, it's, you know, if a kid were to go to a track and see other kids racing and like, oh wow, I can do this too. It's not just
yes.
the
Yep.
grown-ups.
Yep.
So, and yeah, it
Same for
just needs
women,
to,
same for
yeah,
women. They will
exactly.
go out there and say, hey, there's somebody's grandma out there racing and doing pretty
Hmm.
good.
Yeah,
Maybe I could do it too.
right.
So yeah, it's a good
Anybody
thing.
can do it. Anybody
Anybody.
can do it.
Yeah.
Anybody. So,
Yeah.
and that's just it. It's really cool when you see, you know, the 50 plus classes, to see people that, you know, I don't know if you are all are just really brave or maybe a little bit on the crazy side, but
Crazy.
you know,
A
to
little bit of both.
continue on, yeah, I think you need to be a little bit of crazy to do this in general.
Yes.
Uh, but it's really cool to see the vet riders continue on, because it's obviously obvious that if you are in a 50 plus class, you're
Mhm.
doing this because you remember why you're doing this, why you started.
Yeah.
This is all for
Yes.
fun.
Yep.
You know, if you're not having a good time, you probably would have retired before you're in the 50 plus class.
Exactly.
So,
And with the older, the senior classes, it's funny because, a lot of them will race a year,
mhm.
podium, whatever, and then you won't see them for another year. And then they'll come
Yeah.
back and they're like, yeah, I'm going to do the B class this year or the C class this year. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
age is catching up with you. So,
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But you've been racing for a little while now.
Mhm.
Throughout your race career, what would you say would be kind of one of your most memorable moments with racing?
My most memorable by far was the last race. It was in California.
Okay.
Probably, I was in the C class. I just remember,
Okay.
and I
Hmm.
worked so hard. I was in first place in the B class. I third 30B, I believe, and
Okay.
then the women's B class. So I
Hmm.
was fit enough for at the time where I could race Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
And I would race one race on Saturday, one on Sunday. And that last round, I was off by just a few points from first place in the women's
Oh,
class.
wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, and I just put everything I had into it. And I came around and the scoring chute was cheering for me. And I was like, "Oh, I'm hoping that's good." And she was like,
Yeah.
you won the championship because the other girl,
Wow.
she was a sponsored rider and they forgot to
Okay.
put gas in her tank. And
Oh, no.
yeah. So I got two championships that year and I was
Yeah.
really excited. I mean, I had worked hard and it paid off and
Yeah.
with a little bit of luck, but like I
Yeah.
would have never thought at 35, 36 that I could win two championships. I'm
Yeah,
spending all
absolutely.
this money and I'm going all around and look what I got. So it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It was great. That was one of my best.
Yeah, well, I think that's a really good one right there. And
Mhm.
yeah, like you said, at 35 years old, winning, because WORCS would be, in my eyes, WORCS would be a national championship.
Mhm.
There's only one WORCS series, period, that I know of.
Yes.
So you won, one national championship is a big accomplishment. Then knowing
Right.
that you went out and you won two championships in
Yep.
1 year, that
Yes.
is
It
that's
was
really
great.
good.
It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
It
That's a
was a
big
great
accomplishment.
feeling. Probably never happen again, but yeah, it was a great. I
Yeah.
did it once, and that's it,
You
one
never
and
know.
done.
You
But
never
yeah,
know.
you right, you do never know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that was one of my favorite memories.
I mean, I could really see why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I guess with that too, do you have a racing idol that you've looked up to?
Well, I have a few. I mean, I have some
Okay.
old school. I have some new.
Okay.
My favorite to watch by far is Doug Gust.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just like when I started originally watching him, he he felt like he was the old guy.
Yeah.
but he was hanging in there with Natalie and all of them, and I just loved
Hmm.
that. He was
Yeah.
like the underdog kind of thing, but he was still a badass.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'd have to say Doug Gust and Doug Eichner,
Okay.
here on the West Coast,
Yep.
because
Yep.
he was always the one that I watched when we would go to the works rounds when I first
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
So I would say those two, and then of course Chad Wienen.
Okay.
I met him when he was here in Arizona when he was on
Yeah.
his Can-Am,
Yeah.
and I met him and talked, and he was so down to earth, and ended
Hmm.
up being a sponsored writer with
Yeah.
him, and
Yeah.
I like his work ethic. Not that I don't like all the others, but I have
Hmm.
personally met him, so.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Bo Barron. There's just so many, and
Hmm.
Travis Damon. Just they're awesome, and I don't know how they
Hmm.
do what they do, but they do it, and I like to
Yeah.
watch. And but
Yeah.
those are some of my. So I'd have to say Doug Gus though.
Okay, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
and no, you said Doug, and then you also said Chad, which 2025 was his last full season racing ATV
Yep.
motocross, and
Yep.
he was the old guy of the class. Doug
Yes.
Gus,
Yep.
like you said, was always kind
I
of the older
know.
guy, and
Yep.
Doug was always that. Both of them are Midwestern guys,
Yep.
but Doug was just that good old boy from Wisconsin. He got off, and you could tell he was from Wisconsin as soon as he started talking.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, both are just, they have, I don't know about Doug's work ethic now. I mean, he's flying planes and he's doing all stuff, and
Right.
he's keeping busy, but Chad, I've seen it up until a few months ago, like his work ethic is just, it's crazy.
Yep. It's
And
still
being that
there.
old, and yeah, and being that old and finishing as good as he was, it both had really successful careers. That is for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I look up to those guys because,
Uh-huh.
it's being on top for all, as long as they have, and still getting out there and winning races and stuff. It's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I think we all hope for, for
Hmm.
me,
Hmm.
anyways. I don't ever see myself saying, oh, I'm too old to do this. I think my body will tell me when it's time, but my
Hmm.
mindset will say, hey, you got another year in you.
Yeah, there you
Which I
go.
think for the last
Yeah.
3 years I've been saying that. So yeah.
Just keep
Just
talking that 1 year out of you every year.
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess that's the other thing too, that I unfortunately only got to meet him once, but Doug Eichner,
Uh-huh.
also another guy that was an elder in the class that he was always racing in. He was
Hmm.
always up there in age compared to the other people he was competing with.
Yeah. So
So,
I was going to a race, or I was going somewhere in California, and Jeff
okay.
Henson calls me,
Hmm.
and he says, hey, you want to come up riding this weekend? It's going to be me and Doug Eigner. I
Okay.
said, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I was so disappointed. Like,
Yeah.
one of my lifelong idols here in racing, and I have the opportunity to go riding with him, and
Hmm.
I'm out of town. I was just so, he was like, there'll
Oh
be other
man.
opportunities. Haven't had it yet, but
Yeah.
one of these
Hopefully one
days.
of these
One of these
days.
days.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one of
And I
these
guess that's
days.
another thing too is, your location, there are, I can think of three other works racers that are right there in that area. One of them being Jeff,
Uh-huh.
who's the editor of Dirt Wheels. And
Yes.
then you've got Justin from RWI, and then Rainbow
Hmm.
Rob, that you're all right there in that area.
Yep, we're all here
So
together.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you
it's
do you all ride together as well?
we don't, and
Okay.
we try to get together, but for some reason, the only time that we can get together is if we like rent out the track in
Okay.
Casa Grande, and I know that
Hmm.
they've done that a few times, and I haven't been
Yeah.
able to go, but
Okay.
everybody can get together and ride, because that's the only time
Yeah.
quads can ride. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's, for a lot of places, that's the only way that quads can ride, is if somebody happens to rent it, or on a very rare chance that a track actually has a quad day. So
Yeah.
you got to make the most of it when you can.
Yeah, you really do,
So
because if they have these, events and stuff for quads, and then the quads don't show
mhm.
up, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we
Yeah.
got to show up. We have to show
Right.
up.
You just blew your one chance.
Yep. You're never getting it again.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but shifting gears real quick, obviously you have a family and you touched base on
Mhm.
that, but outside of racing, what else do you do?
I like to garden. I like
Okay.
to do work in my backyard. Um, Crafts. I'm kind of embarrassed, but yeah, I'm a crafty.
Don't
I love
be,
to do
don't be.
crafts.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I love to do crafts. I just like to keep busy. I like spend a lot of time with my grandkids. I have
Yeah.
5 boys under the
Oh,
age of
wow.
10. So yeah,
Okay.
they keep me busy, but
Yeah.
lots of fun there. Other
Uh-huh.
than that, I'm just pretty much a homebody.
Okay.
I don't go out a lot,
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you keep yourself busy though. So it's not like you're just kind of just doing nothing. You're kind of a busybody,
Oh,
always doing something with your hands
yeah.
anyways.
I'm
Yeah.
always doing something. I'll find something to do.
Yeah.
I don't just like lay around. That's one of the reasons that I have to get off the medication because,
Mm-hmm.
I would be taking naps. I'd be
Okay.
up for an hour and sleep for 3 and up for 2, eat dinner and then go to bed, and it was like, that's not a life that I want to live.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I just try to get up and I push myself until my body says, okay, shut it down, girl. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll take
Mm-hmm.
a quick nap, 40 minutes or whatever, and I'll get back up and finish what I started.
Okay. Okay. Hey. I mean, it's if it's what you got to do, it's what you got to do. So,
You do, you have to do
yeah.
something. So,
Yeah.
because if you do nothing, you'll do more of nothing. And I don't want that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And so you got the 5 grandchildren. Have any of
Mhm.
them had any sort of interest in getting into riding themselves?
My oldest, we bought him a dirt bike for Christmas. And
Okay.
he likes it. He's just
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
don't have, we got to make time to take him.
Right.
I wish
Yeah.
we would have gotten a quad, that way he could come and go on more of the trips and tracks and stuff with
Mm-hmm.
us. Because I
Yeah.
don't know how to ride a dirt bike. I'm not real familiar with it, but it's
Yeah.
what he wanted. And if one of the other little ones comes up and they want to try a quad, then I'll let him try a
Yeah.
quad.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
I mean, it's a grandparent's duty to spoil them anyways, right?
It is. So, and I've got 5 of them. Let's go,
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
all
Exactly.
boys, so
Right. Right. Yeah. There you go. So be it. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of options out there. It just kind of depends on, if or when they give the
want to
interest
do it.
on what you buy. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I know which one would do well
yeah.
and which one I wouldn't let near a quad.
Yeah.
But they're all so close in age. They could share one if they wanted to race, but I'll
Hmm.
slowly introduce them into, quad
There you go.
racing just to
Yeah,
see how they feel about it.
absolutely. Right, right. And I mean, you go out in the desert, you just ride. So even if they just want to go ride for fun,
Yeah, yep,
it's a
come out.
possibility.
Yeah, so when I
Mhm.
do, I just let him go in his little dirt bike area while I'm,
Mhm.
going up and down the wash trying to get some seat
Yeah.
time in. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
There you go. There you go. No,
lots of
and that's
fun.
just it. Everyone just needs the seat time
Yeah, everybody needs
as
seat
long as it's
time. And
fun. Hmm.
nobody else in my family rides, none of my
Okay.
kids,
Hmm.
my husband, sister, none of them ride. So,
Yeah.
but they know my love for it. So,
There you go.
they will support it. So,
Well, that's good. As long as they're supportive of it, and obviously it makes it a lot easier for you to do it.
exactly.
Hmm. Hmm. There you go. Well, I guess the next thing then would be, you kind of talked about where you want to see TN Warrior Racing going.
Mhm.
Um, where do you see yourself in the future of ATV racing?
I want to be involved, even if I'm
Hmm.
not racing. I want to be
Hmm.
involved. And I've thought about it because Works is located in Havasu,
Hmm.
and I'm just 2 hours away, 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it could be done. I think if they needed help and I needed that in my life, but I wasn't racing, that would be something that
Hmm.
I would want to do.
Okay.
But my main thing is to keep growing the sport and
Hmm.
doing whatever I can to help facilitate that.
Okay. Okay. So you definitely see yourself involved with it anyways.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
This is in my blood. It's not like something
Yeah.
you just put your boots away and keep,
Hmm.
go to bingo or something. No, it's
Right.
there. It's part of
Yeah.
my life. You can't see. I mean, at one point I sold everything, my
Okay.
gear, my, chest protect everything except for my
Hmm.
boots. And
Okay.
a year later, I started buying everything all over again. New bike, new gear, I couldn't
Uh-huh.
give it up. And I was like, I should have never even tried. So
Yeah. Yeah. So that was that year you took off racing then.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it because I could never see myself stepping away from this sport. It's just
Yes. Yeah.
once you're in, it seems like you're in for life.
Yes. Especially when
Hmm.
you're older because you don't have the kids to take care of anymore. You don't have
Oh, right.
anything, we're older, I'm 55. Take
Hmm.
that back. I'm 56. You don't have you don't have, those responsibilities as much. Like,
Right.
you have these things you got to do on the weekend with the kids, or so we can
Hmm.
pretty much go and do whatever we want. So,
Yeah, yeah.
like it's no reason to stop.
Right, right. Yeah, it's at that
So
point now where it's like if you want to go hang out with grandma, you got to come to the races.
exactly. If you want to go with me, it's going to be a 5-day trip. So it's up to
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and it's okay with my kids. They're like, yeah, take the kids, but you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's, like I'm in that stage right now. I've got a 14-year-old and a 1-year-old, and,
oh
it's,
wow.
I would never change it for the world. But yeah, I mean, it's sometimes it's tricky finding that time to
Yeah.
go ride because, I've got one kid that's in two different
Oh my
sports and I've got
gosh.
one that's
1 year
going
old.
through yeah, yeah.
Oh
Well,
my, that's a
year
spread.
and a half, I said. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's a little gap there, but I mean, it's,
It
like I
is
said,
what
I
it
would never
is.
trade it for the world. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I get it.
you just
Yeah.
make it work or you can.
That's what you have to, especially with racing, that's
Yeah,
so many
exactly.
things come up, you got to have the money, you
Right.
got to have the time, you got to have the parts,
Hmm.
and then you got to have the family time too. So,
Right,
yeah.
right. And there's times where you got to think about like, okay, this weekend it's going to be really hot. Do we do this because we have a young child and it's might be miserable all
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah. Ah, I get it. I
So,
get it.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah. But how about, while you're still racing, is there
Mhm.
a goal class or a goal series, kind of bucket list items that you want to do yet?
Well, I definitely want to grow the women's A class because there's nobody
Hmm.
in it.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, there's nobody in it. There's never anybody in it. I'm surprised it hasn't been taken away.
So it
Uh,
sounds like you need to sign up first of all.
well, yeah, I'll sign up, but I'll be racing against
Yeah.
myself. But
It's got to start somewhere, right?
yeah, but my issue with the A class is that
Mhm.
it's racing with the pros, and
Okay, at the same
I
time.
don't I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm
Okay.
not at that level where I feel comfortable with these guys hauling ass up behind me. And I know they're pros
Okay.
and they can go around me, but at my
Right.
age, I don't feel comfortable on the course with that
Hmm.
level of riding.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but that is how I feel. But I
Yeah.
think if they were to put the A class maybe with the women's classes,
Hmm.
I would do it, and I'm pretty sure I could get some other people to do it too,
Yeah.
because that anxiety of running with those super fast people, it can make you not want to do it. So
When they
it
blow
is just
past
what
you
it
like you're
is.
barely moving. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! Like I
Yeah.
feel like I don't want to get in their way because it would
Yeah.
be bad if that were to happen. Not that I'm all
Right.
over the course or anything, but I don't want to be riding looking back to see if these pros are barreling down. I mean, I don't want that smoke, so
Yeah.
that's
Oh, I
why I stay
understand.
where I am. So I think if we could get more women in the A class,
Hmm.
um yeah, that's a goal.
Yeah. Do you think that it would be possible to get when the women's A class runs moved to a
I
different
don't
time?
know, I've never talked to Heather or about it, but I
Hmm.
think it's probably worth worth a conversation.
Yeah, definitely a conversation. I mean, if there's nobody signed up for it now and you could
Right.
get, even a couple entries off of it,
Yeah,
might be something worth looking into.
I agree.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you got to keep them moving, the
Mm-hmm.
women's C class it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get the women pushed up to the B class, and then the B
Yeah,
class women
yeah.
pushed up to the A class.
Right,
um
right.
it just is what it is, but I wish for
Exactly.
in the women's class, if they could kind of redo it and have, like
Mm-hmm.
an age thing, maybe like women 30 up. That
Mm-hmm.
might
Mm-hmm.
even help, just to get
Yeah,
them to know that, hey, this is a special class just for me.
right. There
And
there
I'm
is a
gonna,
possible vet women's class.
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you just need to speak up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're easy to talk to. I just know that they can
Yeah.
only do what they can do. So
Right.
it's kind of like
Right.
pick your battles, pick your
Yeah.
battles.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. But how about, ATV racing as a whole? What do you want to see going forward?
As a whole, I want to see more be televised. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I turn on the TV and these sports and some of the sports that they have on there, and I'm like, they have this, but they're not
Oh,
showing quad
is it
racing.
insane? Yeah, right,
I'm
right.
like, what are you
You
talking
go
about?
on you go on ESPN and they have like air guitar competitions and just
Or
the
or pony
dumbest
horse
thing.
racing, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
you gotta be kidding me! Like,
yeah.
who do I
Right?
need to talk to? I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I'm scouring YouTube trying to find, racing on the East Coast, and
Yeah,
the only
yeah.
way you really can see it if it's a YouTube channel that you know about,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
somebody just happened to post about their race, and that's the only way
Right.
you see it. But
Yeah.
I just think it should be bigger. It's
Right.
I don't.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that, if you don't, if it's somebody that doesn't have a clue what it is and they ask you, what is ATV racing, and you explain it, it 9 times out of 10 they're like, You do
What is
what
that? Or I didn't
with
even
it?"
know.
Yeah. And
Yep,
then you
exactly.
explain it, like for on the motocross side, obviously it's quite easy, like, hey, oh, do you see supercross, do you see
Yes.
motocross? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we do the same thing but on a four-wheeler. Oh, you're
Yeah.
insane. And the same
Yeah.
thing with if you're desert racing or works racing, stuff like that.
Mhm.
You're doing all the same stuff that the people on the bikes are doing, but you have a lot more machine to hand. You're trying to maneuver,
Yes. Yes.
and
And
in the
handle it.
desert,
And yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, in the desert, it's not like everything is quad width either. You
Yeah.
might have it where one side of the quad is going into a hole and the other side's not. You have to
Yeah.
get through it.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm thinking, at some point I would like to um maybe team up with some of these races, maybe have some of the East Coast guys team up with West
Hmm.
Coast guys and maybe do one of
Yeah.
these bigger races. Like,
Yeah.
when I did the Vegas Arena, Adam McGill was there. And
Hmm. Hmm.
I met him and everything. So when I saw that he was gonna, be retiring or whatever, I text him,
Yeah.
on Facebook Messenger. And I said, hey, why don't you come and do, the men? And he was
Hmm.
like, oh, I would love to. It's just I don't
Yeah.
know with my sponsors and stuff. I was like, yeah, we need to experience what they're doing, and they need to experience
Right.
what we're doing.
Absolutely.
I think it would be
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got Max Lindquist, which is a
Mhm.
racer that is a familiar name with ATV motocross, who
Right.
has been going out west and has been racing the WORCS series.
Yes,
He's
he
for the last
has.
couple of years, he's been kind of dabbling in it.
Yeah.
And last year I think there was a small group of WORCS riders that came over and
Mhm.
did a ATV motocross race.
Yes.
It'd be really cool. And like, obviously it's cool to see riders going back and forth, but it'd be really
Mhm.
cool is if we could get some sort of race that's somewhere towards the
In
middle.
between, yes.
Right.
Yep. Yep. That
Like
would be awesome.
Colorado or something like that. It's
Yeah.
obviously it's a bit of a drive for everybody.
Yeah. It like even like the Iron Man, GNCC Iron Man, if they could
Hmm.
make it to where it was more accessible to everybody, you would
Right.
get more people there because I know I would go, you
And that
know?
machine there, that event is insane to begin with the
Yeah.
entries that they get. Just
Yeah.
because there's so many racing series that are done at that point that everyone's like,
Yes.
let's go
Let's
try
go.
this,
Yep.
or
Let's go
yeah,
try
yeah.
it. Yeah. So
So, but yeah, I mean, it would be really cool if there was something that made it a little bit more, inviting for everybody to go do. And then,
yes.
obviously it'd be really cool to see the ATV numbers get to where the dirt bike numbers are at that event.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I that
Just to
would be
show like we
great.
are out here.
Yeah, like Jason, he did an awesome job of getting everybody
Hmm.
together and rallying everybody, lighting the fire.
Oh yeah,
And
for the
look, the
mint.
numbers are there. They're out there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just you got to put in work to get them to
yeah.
come.
Right. Yeah, because from what I've heard, is there's as many quad pro teams as there are pro bike teams for the mints.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, when
That's
do you ever see
that's
that?
you don't. You
Right.
don't. So,
Right.
but that might get some people who are coming out, of retirement to do it, which I know a
Hmm.
few. Maybe they'll
Hmm.
start doing it, more often.
Yeah.
Say, "Hey, I
Yeah.
want to get back into this. This is what I was
Hmm.
missing."
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's
Yeah.
hope, anyways. Yeah, and
Yeah.
obviously, you're seeing a lot more in the work side of things too. A lot of riders getting off of the machines and getting into a cage.
Yes.
How do we get some of those people back? That just, and I've seen people that will sell their quad and they'll get a side by side, and then oh, how's that side by side? Yeah, it's cool, but it's not as cool. Okay, well,
Yeah.
sell that big expensive
More
turd and get
expensive.
another four wheeler.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Works doesn't have side by sides anymore.
Oh,
Um,
right.
yeah, so
Now
hopefully some of them
that's pretty
can come,
recent, isn't it? Correct?
That is as of this year, there's no more.
That is
They
this year.
stopped
Okay,
last
I was
year.
gonna
Yeah.
say, wow, wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Huh.
So
Well, yeah. Sorry about your side by side, but I'm sure you could
yeah,
sell it and buy a four wheeler.
yeah. Or go, to a different series that's,
Right. Well, and I mean, I think it's mostly short course.
yeah.
A short course, or like your kind of rock bouncing or King of Hammers type events that's left
Yes,
for side by
yes.
sides. Where GNCC had them, they don't anymore. Works had them, you don't anymore.
Yep.
I think a lot of the best in the desert events still have them, correct?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And obviously you've got all the trucks and buggies so you're not going to see the side by sides go away from there. But
Yeah, they have a
yeah, I
ton of
mean,
classes too, a
hmm
ton of different
hmm
classes. So there's a class
right.
for you.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. Ditch the side by side, get a four wheeler.
There you go. I'm down for that.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you've already done this. So you should have a pretty good answer for this, but let's say, and I'm just saying because the events you've held where it's just kind
Mhm.
of people that don't race usually come try it. When you have those women, or even just it doesn't have to be a woman rider, but if you have a new rider that's coming up to you and asking for advice, what's something that you would like to tell them?
I would tell them to go into it for the fun of it.
Mhm.
If you're going to, want to continue with the whole series, the wins will come. Don't get
Right.
out there and try to, you know, go into the doubles and hammer down and through the whoop section. Just go out there and have fun.
Yeah.
Maybe take some time to to try different type of racing to see what you want to go with, and
Hmm.
just go that way.
Yeah.
You don't have to,
Yeah.
make sure you have some good shocks. You don't need all the motor work done. Just get out there and do the best you can, and speed will come, and then you can get all those goodies later.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a really good answer right there.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be kind of the answer that a lot of people will say is, just go out there and have fun, and
Yeah.
that's all you really need to focus on, because you would know if you're not having fun, why are you doing this?
Yeah. Yep. Or
You
you
know,
get the ones out there that, seen a race and think they can race that fast and get out there and hurt themselves. And then
right,
like,
right.
what did that get you, Trip to the
Exactly.
emergency
Yeah.
room. So,
Right,
yeah,
right. Yeah, you just need to remember to go at your own pace and have fun,
that's
So
right.
I think you hit the nail right on the head there on good
Yeah.
advice for entry level riders,
Oh
because
yeah, definitely.
I don't really know of anybody that signed up for their first race that they were competitors at and won it.
Yeah. Yep.
Usually
Yep.
it's a learning curve before you
Yep.
start winning and getting championships and everything like that. But at the end of the day, that's just a perk.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
That's right.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it's if you're riding for fun, it is something that's going to stick around for a long time, as long as you want it to, really.
Yeah. Just like I like the guys that do the 4x4s. Now that
Mm-hmm.
looks like fun to me. That looks like some fun stuff right there.
It
Like,
looks crazy because that's a lot
it
of machine
does.
there, but
Yeah, but it's like, and they go so fast. I'm like, man,
mm-hmm,
that's got to be
mm-hmm.
fun on there. But I know it's
Yeah, yeah,
probably hard to handle as well. But you can't just jump on
yeah.
one of those and say, hey, I'm going to go win a race on
Oh,
it. I'm
yeah.
sure it's going to take some discipline too. So,
Right, right. Yeah. Guys, I mean, we're trying to maneuver 400 plus pound machines. They're maneuvering around 8,000 to 9,000 pound machines.
right, exactly.
Like, and if you're doing it in a desert racing trim, you're 1,200 pounds once you get all the crap on that you're gonna need.
Yep. Yep.
So,
All the stuff for the bike and then you as the
yeah,
rider. Yeah, it
right.
gets up there. But
Yeah, yeah.
I think the desert race on a 4x4 might seem like the way to go, but
That would that I feel like a well set up 4x4 is gonna feel like a cloud compared to the sport
yes.
quad.
Yes, but I don't know. There's something about the sport quad, the
Hmm.
just the handling of it and everything. It's
Right,
nothing like
right.
it. Nothing like
Yeah.
it.
Well, and I mean, if you're trying to compare the two, you're talking about a nimble, and obviously what we're used to, a 450 is the big machine, but
Yeah.
you're on a TRX 450, which is a light, nimble, very
Uh-huh.
maneuverable four wheeler compared to a 1000 cc 4x4.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, the
Maybe I'll get
450
one
sounds a
day
lot
just
more
to take it
appealing.
trail riding.
Hey,
Yes,
there you
the
go.
450
There you go.
definitely. So,
Then you could
yeah.
say you tried it at least.
Yeah, take it up to Flagstaff and, go trail
There
riding.
you go.
That might be
Yeah,
fun. Fishing.
there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But Marsha, you have a website,
Mm-hmm.
tnwarriorracing.com.
Yes.
Where else can people find you on the internet?
TNWarriorRacing.com, TN Warrior Racing on Instagram,
Hmm.
Facebook, and on TikTok. All the
Perfect,
same
perfect.
names. So easy to
There you go,
find.
making it easy.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Making it easy on you.
I'll post links below in the show notes for all those as well to make it a little easier for people. But yeah, I
Uh-huh.
mean, I don't know how much easier you could make that, really.
Yeah. And
But
Sparky's there, Sparky's
there you
there.
go.
There's a few other things. I've got some t-shirts and they all go towards the race team, and then a portion of it goes towards the Facial Pain Association, which is
Hmm.
helping us bring awareness and cures for trigeminal neuralgia.
Hmm. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and I think it's just really cool to see what you're doing, and it's one of the big reasons why I wanted to talk to you in the first place. Is like we talked before. I've seen posts from you. I've seen posts from
Uh-huh.
from Kevin of your machine and everything like that, and then kind of learning a bit about your story and why you're doing this and raising awareness and everything like that. I had to have you on. You're
Oh, thank you.
doing all of this for the right reasons and more.
Yes. I and
So
And that's why I'm full speed forward. I don't see an
Yeah.
end to it, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll just see what happens. And I'm looking forward to the Mint 300 because it's just going to give
Yeah.
me, another platform to be able to talk to people about trigeminal neuralgia and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sparky and his mission, and then they're going to ask about the women racers. So it's kind of just like a whole bundle of goodness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
you're a great ambassador for the sport of ATV racing, and it seems
oh,
like you're being a really good ambassador for raising awareness of trigeminal neuralgia. So I think you're definitely doing your part,
thank you.
and you because obviously you could just be dealing with this on your own and shutting down and keeping to yourself, but instead you're using your voice, you're using your racing and your passion for ATV racing
Yes.
to get your voice heard and get it out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before I really started with the Teen Warrior Racing, people would always come by my trailer to talk to me, and I would always be asleep, but they never really knew, I was asleep. I was old. I don't know. And then I
Yeah.
started talking about the Teen Warrior, the TN,
Yeah.
and then they were like, "Oh, I didn't know. What is that?" So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of started the
Mm-hmm.
conversation, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, this is going to work. I'm just
Yeah.
going to talk about it more," and then
Yeah.
it took off from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's really good, and like it had to start somewhere.
It really
So
did. It
yeah.
really
Yeah.
did. So,
Well. Yeah.
I see, a lot of posts, and it's like, "Oh, I'm sick. I don't feel good." And I get it, but
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about what you can do. Let's talk
Right.
about what you can do. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how I like to start the conversation. If all you can do is go to the mailbox and check your mail and come
Yeah.
back and lay down, then cool. Look at you accomplished
Mhm.
going to the mailbox. It's better than not
Right.
doing anything at all. So let's
Right.
talk
You're
about the
doing
stuff you
something.
do. Let's talk about what
Mm-hmm.
you're doing, not what you're not doing. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, it's even like you talking about your hobbies, where you said you're not getting out and doing much, but you are at home and you're doing things. You're
yes.
keeping busy. You're keeping your hands
Mhm.
busy, like I said, and you're always just doing something. It's not like you're just kind of sitting around and moping and just, pity me. I'm dealing with this. Like
Yeah.
you have taken control and you're not letting it bring you down.
Yeah, I'm gonna find something to do. It, you
There you
know,
go.
I'm just gonna find something to do. I
Mm-hmm.
might start, and I'm notorious for this. I start cleaning out the garage, and 3 months later, it's still the same as when I started tearing it apart. But I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it done
Hey,
because
just
I
need a
have two
couple more
bikes in
days.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have two bikes in there, so I had to get it
Yeah.
finished. So
Exactly. Exactly.
it's just,
Right.
but I like to keep busy because I know
That's good.
I have really bad days,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
on the good days, I want to be productive. Um,
Yeah.
because like I said, there are days where it's tough to get out of bed. I'll have to cancel
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's a good day, do something, be productive.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. But is there anyone else that you want to give a shout out to before we go?
I want to give a shout out to Kevin. He's
Mm-hmm.
really important to me because he
Mm-hmm.
he knows what I go through, and with the
Mm-hmm.
racing, he's just him saying, "Don't stress. What are you stressing
Yeah.
about?" He gets it.
Mm-hmm.
My husband, which is my cash cow, of course, because I don't race, I don't work, so he's pays for
Mm-hmm.
everything. And
Uh-huh.
him and Kevin are a good team. They get together.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank a lot of the other female racers because they are,
Yeah.
they're really supportive, and especially Heidi.
Mm-hmm.
She's a really good friend of mine, and she keeps me focused,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate her for that. My
Yeah.
sponsors, Ween and Motorsports, Henson, all of them, PEP, um, Works Connection, IMS, DWT, Roll, JSR, all of them. I go to them, ask them for help when I have these different activities, and they help out. And,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's how we can grow is, by propping each other up. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, it seems like you do a really good job at promoting your
yeah,
partners that are sponsoring you and behind your program as well. So, you
yes.
know, keep doing that as well. And I think, all the things that you say you want to do and what's next, I think
Right.
you can make it happen.
Yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
like I said, if I get into my head that I'm going to do it and then I say it,
Hmm.
it's going to happen. It's going to
Yeah. Yeah.
happen.
Got to keep that
I just have
determination
that
and keep
drive.
that
Yep.
drive going. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have that
Absolutely.
drive. I'm going to keep the
Hmm.
drive while I have it.
Yeah.
So
There
if
you go.
anybody wants a Sparky, go to the website and you're going to win your next race. I guarantee you.
There you go. Absolutely. I better buy a
Yeah,
bunch of those then.
yeah, he's going to be with us on the race. We'll all have him on our backpacks. So,
So cool.
for
So cool.
luck and he's all the things he's done, man. It's like
Hmm. Yeah.
we're putting it out there.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
So,
That's great. Well, Marsha, I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story and promoting what you're doing with racing because, like I said, I think it is really great with what you're doing and you're between your racing and raising awareness and everything. It's just really cool to see that.
thank you. I appreciate that. And
Hmm.
thank you for having
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
Because it just gives my voice more people to reach out to, and you're
Hmm.
all the way
Hmm.
on the other side of the
Yeah.
United States, so it's like
Right.
making that bridge and being able,
Hmm.
it's a really good feeling, so I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's really great to finally meet you as well because like I said, I try to keep tabs on the WORCS races the best I can, and now having a relationship with one of the names that I see in the results, it's
Yes,
really nice
yeah,
as well.
that's
So
awesome.
and
Thank
obviously,
you.
yeah, I mean, best of luck with the rest of your season and WORCS, and also best of luck at the Mint next weekend. It's
Yes,
few more days and you're gonna be
I
packing up and
know,
get
I
ready to
know.
go.
Yep, this weekend it's like
Yeah,
go get the
yeah,
snacks and all that stuff and
right.
pack up the
Yeah.
trailer and let's go.
It has to be exciting though.
It is very exciting.
Yeah.
Like once you get everything, your registration, you've ordered all the parts and
Hmm.
everybody's got their wristbands and all this stuff, then you can kind of take
Yeah.
that breath and focus on, hey, let's do this. Let's finish this race.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So,
No, that's really cool. Well, yeah, you know, I'm sure we'll be talking before the race happens, but you know, obviously best of luck to you and the other ladies on the team. And obviously the biggest thing is just going to be get to the checkers and
yep.
hopefully you come out on top when you do reach the
Yeah,
checkers.
you never know. Because
Yeah.
you never know
Yeah.
what can happen in a long distance
Yeah.
race. So, yep.
Exactly, exactly. And like you said before, it seems like the long distance races really suit your style because
Mhm.
you have that stamina to go the whole
Yes.
distance and not fade.
Right. So I'm going to
So
do the best, see what I can do.
there we go. That's all we can hope for, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you,
thank you again,
Leon.
Marsha. Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk to you again soon. And, obviously thank you to everybody who has tuned in, listened or watched this episode with Marsha. And if you are able to, follow along with the Mint 400 coming up here and just over well, at this point, it's just over a week. I'm sure by the time this episode
Yes.
comes out, it's going to be about a week. Because it's very exciting seeing that desert racing and the quads competing in these long distance desert races. It takes a lot of determination. It takes a lot of drive to do this. So
And
if you're able
preparation.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly that too. So if you're able to tune in and follow along as that goes, and obviously cheer on TN Warrior Racing because
Yes.
yeah,
Follow
you heard
us.
it first, yeah.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, make sure you are following Marsha as with all of her journey with this,
Yes.
and obviously check tabs on where Sparky is and where he's going, and get yourself a Sparky
Yeah.
because
Yep. And
yeah,
you guys want to win a race, and you better get a
yeah,
Sparky. And then,
there you
any
go.
women races out there that,
Hmm.
want to reach out to me and, we can talk about, the future of TN Warrior
Hmm.
Racing. Just, get in touch with me.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. And obviously, like I said earlier, links are going to be down below to easily get in touch with her. So till then, obviously, like I said, check out the race, check out TN Warrior Racing. But Marsha, thank you again.
Thank you,
And
Leon.
absolutely. But this has been another episode of Four Wheel Frenzy. And Four Wheel Frenzy is brought to you by Spending Money Motorsports and, of course, viewers like you. So until next time, stay riding.
Stay riding. Thank you, Leon.